right. Welcome to episode 100.
Ayy.
Episode 100 of the
We's
Balance
here.
Period podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am one of your hosts, Recovery Ray.
And I am Pranayanic.
And so, yeah, we're gonna dive right into it. So as you all know, we talked a little bit about it last episode. The new trajectory of where this podcast is going. We're going back to basics. We're keeping it simple, and we're bringing people on to share their stories of self-observation and self-actualization so that they can ultimately offer up our listeners, so you, the opportunity to learn ways that you can continue to learn and grow and develop into the person that you want to be. Now, at the end of each month, Nick and I are going to hop on. It's just going to be us two. And we are going to do a mindful reflection on where we have been from the start to the end of the month. We're going to talk about things that we went through. We're going to talk about ways that we have learned, ways that we have grown, so that you are able to continue to grow with us as we are delivering the content that we deliver to you on a consistent basis. So that's what this episode is going to be. It's a mindful reflection of February. February. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. You got it right that time.
I'm a little congested today, so sometimes the words might sound a little different, but it's okay. Also, on that, I am keeping track of my respiratory rate. Shout out to Whoop, because I know that if that spikes, the odds of me having COVID are probably high. So I'm going to keep an eye on that and continue to practice solid habits like drinking water and getting some rest so that my body can ultimately heal itself from whatever's going on in there. There's something changing. So I'm going to accept that change and allow my body to do what it needs to do. Okay.
Nice.
So going into today, Nick, what's new? Let's just start with that. What's new with you right now?
In this exact moment, I'm in the process of moving. And it was funny because I thought it was going to be in like July. And then Holly comes home and she's like, oh, we got the apartment moving tomorrow. And I'm like, we still got a lease here. Dope. Like just a new experience, big transition. Because that's how I've been lately. It's just anything that comes up that I can't say that I was prepared for or expecting, I just get super excited about it. Because I realized I had a notion to be a little bit more on the cautious side or negative about things. But that only came from my life as a whole. And now that I've changed the trajectory of it and start having a more present, positive, on purpose vision of life, that now it's just what can I create? What can I do? How much fun can I have in this? What is this experience going to be like? Which is now open up doors for me to experience things from a different perspective.
Interesting. So moving. Yeah, man, I think I've moved a lot. Like I know we moved a couple times growing up. I moved quite a bit in my own like adult life. So what is that process like for you, and how has it been so far since you started it?
So it's been decent. It was more so something that she wanted to do. And so in that, within the dynamic of our relationship, when one person wants to do something, we just support. I mean, we just go along with it, we support, and then we just experience what comes after that. And that's kind of been the beauty of it. Like you kind of start to move those expectations out the way. You look for places within what you're doing to find self-growth, because there's a lot of there in that. Because there will be times where you would get frustrated about, oh, well, this amenity could have supposed to be this or that, and now it's not working out, or the place you're at now is trying to give you a hard time. And there's so many things that we could be negative about. But because we choose to be positive within this situation, I mean, that's all we've really been getting out of it. Like we only had to pay $16 to move in, and it was like, oh, great. And then it's our apartment, the normal cost, we're paying like $800 less almost. And so it's like, yo, very dope. So it's just everything is happening and falling in together perfectly as we're just maintaining a positive perspective through the entire experience.
That's awesome. Dope. Well, yeah, on to, let's see what's new for me right now. I know in this moment, I'm watching Milo. So as you can see, I'm in a different location than normal when I record. I am coming to you from my kitchen island right now. So my girlfriend is working in the office this week. So that means I'm at home with good old Milo, man. So it's been fun so far. I've actually found that I've been more productive when it's just he and I. Like we get to chill. I get to take him on a little bit longer walks in between the different activities I'm working on. And so, we've definitely found balance so far. It's only Wednesday, so there's a couple more days to go. I guess 2.5 now, but we'll see how it goes. It's been great so far.
Dope.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's start to talk about February of 2021. So where would you like to start? Would you like to start with something that you learned, or actually you can start wherever you want. How has February 2021 been for you?
Man, it's been utterly amazing. I'll put it that way. So let's jump back to the reflection we did in January when I was like, hey, I want to write this month. Like that was my goal to do. And by all means, I have been. But it was what I found throughout that process of writing that's been so valuable to me. And so just to give some context and a little story, I was talking with Ray one day and we were talking about, I was explaining to him, it was like, oh, bro, I got this thing about time travel. And I was meditating one day and I was reflecting and I went back to a specific time and situation. And in that, I could smell the same smells. I had the same feelings. Like it felt like I was literally there. And I changed my perspective on it. And then when I came out of that meditation, I felt different and I felt better from that. And I was like, yo, we could call that time travel. And you were like, yeah, I think it's called reframing. And I was like, oh, it's already a term for this already? Oh, man. And that hit me because during that time, I was also on this whole kick of, man, all knowledge is third person knowledge and people are telling me this and this and that. And I want to find things for myself until I realized it was in that moment that I realized, man, people came and did stuff before me and I have the opportunity to see what they did and then create my own perspective or create my own thing based off that. So I don't have to repeat the same thing like I did right there. Like that was just like a wake up call. Like, hey, bro, it's not that you're hearing this stuff from people and you're going to do it. It's you're gaining the perspective that they had. And now you get to take your own unique one and build upon that to create your own. It's like, oh, dope. Okay. Well, to create your own experience. And it's like, oh, dope. And so that was huge for me this month, which got me, I probably knocked out like 3 extra books and all that stuff after that. So yeah.
Interesting. You say knocked out 3 extra books. Are these books that you've written or writing?
No, books I read. Books I read. Ain't no. It's been some late nights, but it ain't no 3 books in a night. Not yet.
So you're saying that from that experience, you've changed your perspective on, is it the information that you're getting from other sources? Is that what has changed? Okay.
Yep. And so it's just, I would say it changed how I receive it. So it's not so much of, oh, well, you just giving me what you think and what you think could be someone else thinks. So what's original or where is this coming from? Or now it's just, oh, dope. What do I think about that? That's dope. Let's move forward and just make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I know one of the books I'm reading this month is called The Hidden Messages in Water. I've actually been posting a couple of the pages at night on my Instagram page at Recovery Ray, by the way, for anyone listening. But yeah, and in that book, it talked about, last night when I was reading it, it talked about how every moment is a new moment. And if we're able to recognize that and observe life from that way, then it's so much freedom because we're used to being so habitual in our actions that we don't realize every moment we get to be here, we get to determine what that moment looks like, right? Like we get to determine who we are in that moment. And it was interesting to read it. It wasn't something that I had thought about up until that point. So I'm definitely going to, and like I said, I read it last night, so I feel like it'll continue to develop as I continue to pay closer attention to life on a moment-by-moment basis. But yeah, we have opportunities, and it's not to necessarily create something new. It's just if we observe the present moment, it's already newness in every moment. So all we have to do is pay closer attention to it. And then we put ourselves in a better position to grow with life and change with life, because life itself is already changing. We don't really have to do much, which is something that I'm going to talk a little bit more about in my section. But dope. That's awesome. Yeah. So, as we talked about in our mindful reflection for January, the biggest thing that I learned and that I wanted to bring with me into February was increasing the observation of life, or I should say my observation of life. Just pay closer attention to what's happening, not from a perspective where I'm paying attention to it so I can do something or go somewhere, but just paying attention just to pay attention, to observe what's happening. And like I said before, give myself an opportunity to grow with life and to change with life based on what I'm observing. Now, what that brought me was it actually took me back to something that, and I know you and I had a conversation about this, it took me back to a perspective that I had growing up, which is interesting. And this happens often for me through practicing meditation and being more mindful of my emotions, how I feel. I like to ask myself why, where did these emotions come from? What is the origin of this? And through that, this is what I came up to. And it was something that I would say all the time growing up. And it was, I don't care what other people think about me. And what actually happened growing up was that some people would actually affirm that for me. They would be like, hey man, like, you really don't care what other people think, do you? And I'd be like, nah, I really don't. Now, at the same time though, I did care. I cared a whole lot. Did I ever admit it to myself? No. Did I ever admit it to other people? No. But I'm grateful now that at the age 27, I can admit that even in the moments when back in the day when I would say, I don't care what other people think, I really did. So there was a lot of conflict. There was resistance going on inside of me based on what I was saying and sometimes how I would act because it didn't align with what I was actually feeling. And so I just dove a little deeper into that. Why was that the case? And I recognized that it was just from, I would call it my blueprint in that space, right? So my emotional blueprint, which was no one gets to see the emotions that are going on inside of me. I personally didn't even know how to express those emotions. I wasn't necessarily taught how to express those emotions. So naturally, I was always okay, and nothing that anyone else could say would ever affect me. Like I'm always good. And so I recognized that just came from what I heard about expressing emotions, what I saw about expressing emotions, and what I, in general, just like learned, like overall. And so I recognized that another source of where that came from was actually the need that I felt for other people to approve of me. And that came from in moments when I would say I don't care what someone else would think, I actually wanted them to approve of a perspective that I had. And if they didn't approve that perspective, I felt like I was less than.
Yeah.
For me, it was a sense of me not feeling okay because I'm not okay with what you are believing. And so, I don't know, I dove a little deeper into that and just realized that that was the case. So from observation, I recognized that for so long in my life, I said one thing, but believed and felt something different. And I'm grateful to be aware of that now because I recognize that aside from what anyone may think about me or aside from whether a perspective of mine is or is not aligned with what someone else believes, I am still whole and I still have an opportunity to articulate that perspective without feeling as if I am not enough in that moment that I'm sharing it and that I need to accommodate to someone else's perspective in order to be whole in any given moment. So I'm grateful that I've been taking the time to observe my emotions and to go a little deeper into why I am where I am today so that I can continue to release some of the strongholds that may have been in place in my mind and in my emotional well-being as a whole so that I can continue to grow with life as time progresses. So yeah, observation. That's something that I plan on continuing to keep at the forefront of my mind as the months and as this year progress, because I've just recognized how valuable it is. I've been able to unpack a lot of things that I may not have been paying attention to because I wasn't just observing life for what it was. So,
I mean, I can attest to that. I would say my entire life is built, like where I'm at right now is all built off pure observation and reflection. It was me going, why do I do this? Why do I think about this like this? Why am I the way that I am? And by asking those questions and searching for those answers, I mean, I found them. And it was just in the process of saying, why? Why is this? But not just why did this happen to me? No, why was my emotion? Why did I get happy? Why did I get sad? Like really diving down and asking myself those questions and getting to know myself, which gave me the power to then create myself.
Yeah, that's been an interesting one too. I know we had a conversation about it, but in taking praise, sometimes I would be like, if someone is telling me good things, quote unquote, about me, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then we were doing that first Friday last month, and someone had made a comment. Someone made a comment that it was a very flattering comment. It was awesome. And I found myself smile. And then once I recognized that I was allowing that comment to influence what I was feeling in that moment, I instantly stopped. And I was like, man, like I know how Kanye feels. I get it. I understand. It's like, yeah. But it's in that moment, right? The moment that we realize, hey, I am allowing this person's perspective in this moment to determine my happiness or me feeling good about myself. Man. It doesn't have to be the case because I'm already whole. So it's nice to now be at a place where I'm able to recognize it, and in those moments, remember that I am enough in this moment. So,
and I'm glad you brought it up about and use happiness as the example, because a lot of times we'll use like negative emotions, but it's in those happiness moments too. Like when someone's giving you all this praise that you be mindful of, okay, why does that get me so excited? Why do I feel so good when they do that? Oh, that's because I set my value off what they're saying right now, the value I have in myself.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, yeah, bro. So let's go ahead. What are you going to be doing going into March? What are some things that you're looking to either do more of or do less of? What's that look like for you?
So, man, I'm really excited for I just released another, what's it called? Guided meditation yesterday. And so I'm really excited to get deeper into those. And that just really got my juices flowing to create content. And so I'm excited just to get on. I'll be posting on YouTube. I'll of course, put links to it on Instagram and everything like that. But just to talk about my journey and kind of be more transparent with myself, because I've realized that the more that I've talked about what I've went through personally, it's been able to give people perspectives of, oh my gosh, I'm not as limited as I think I am. And I just want to continue to share that with as many people as I can and just add as much value as I can wherever it's needed.
Dope.
And keep writing. Yeah. So yes, I'm very excited to put that out because I realize how much I have a passion to just sit down and type on this computer the words that are coming inside my head.
Dope. Yeah. Let me think. So for me going into next month, definitely continue to observe. I know I was thinking through the process of self-care in general, and I realized that it's not as complicated as I may have once thought it was. That in order to care for something or someone, in this case myself, the best thing that I can do is pay attention to what's happening, because we can only manage what we measure. So as long as I'm paying attention to how I'm feeling in any given moment, as long as I'm doing things that are expanding my awareness of my overall health and well-being, then I am literally doing what I can to take care of myself. So it's through awareness that gives me the opportunity to do that. So actually, last time or a couple episodes ago, we were talking about that one of the values that I had that was drive. I actually swapped that out with awareness. So now I just focus on maintaining awareness. And that's been valuable. I know one thing that we both have been doing, and I wanted to share with everyone. This is from a company called Everlywell, and they give you the opportunity to take tests that expand your awareness of different aspects of your health. So the first one that I took, and these are at-home tests, which are awesome. The first one I took was a vitamin D and inflammation test, So I was able to see the aspects of what's going on inside of me that are contributing to inflammation, and also my vitamin D levels, because I recognize how valuable that is in this day and time, especially with us not necessarily being outside as much, getting natural vitamin D. We normally have to supplement for it during these times. So it's important to continue to expand your awareness of your health and well-being. And this week, or not this week, but this month's test is an HbA1c test, which ultimately is for your blood sugar. So for me, I'm taking it because I am continuing to adjust my diet based on what my body needs in any given moment. And this test is going to give me insight on the last 90 days where my blood sugar levels were, so that I can make dietary changes as needed. So there's a whole lot of tests that they offer. I'm grateful that we found these guys and that we're able to use their product. Actually, one thing that I learned the other day is that they were on Shark Tank. I was watching Shark Tank on the old episodes.
I didn't realize that.
And they were on it. Yeah, me either. So that was cool to see. But yeah, so that's what I'm planning on doing. Continuing to expand my awareness going into March.
Dope. I was like, let me ask you about what's your experience with using the test kit? Like, how does that work for you?
I mean, it's cool. So the last one and this one, both of them require a finger prick. So you prick your finger, there's blood that comes out, and then you kind of drip it on the paper. I would say the first time I did it, I pricked myself with no blood come out. I kind of pricked it too far over on the side of my hand. My finger was sore. I'm not gonna lie. So I took a day off, and I went back at it the next day, and it worked fine. So there is a method that I have learned that you kind of need to make sure that, and it gives you detailed information on how to do it. I just didn't execute very well the first time. And actually the second time, I got a couple drops of blood out. I needed like 5 and I got 2. And so I started to swing my arm because I know that that's how I send blood to my hand. And I look down and there's blood all over my So I highly recommend to not swing your arm as you have opened up a portion of your finger, because blood will come out. So that's all I got. But yeah, other than that, it's a simple process. They take you step by step through it. And I think it took like 3 to 5 days for the test results to come back.
Yeah.
They have an awesome online platform that breaks down exactly what your test means. And yeah, great way to continue to expand my awareness of what's going on in here so I can be better out here.
Definitely.
Dope. All right. Well, hey, we can cut this part out, but we're already at like 22, 23 minutes. So we'll just go ahead and cut the episode.
Yep, that's cool.
Or you should, I don't know. It's not that bad. We can.
I mean, they enjoy us.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah, they enjoy our episodes.
Let's go with it. All right. So what we're going to do now is answer some questions from our Appreciate Life community. Okay, so once you become an Appreciate Life member on our Patreon page, once a month, you will get access live to these episodes that we record, and then we offer up space at the end for you to ask any questions that you want directly to us, and we can answer them and kind of have a little dialogue back and forth. Now, we're going to offer up a couple of those questions today for our listeners to hear, but moving forward, you all will have to become Appreciate Life members in order to get access to this kind of content. So, Nick, let's go ahead and answer a couple of the questions. I'll do one, you can do one, and then we can cut out of this and continue to answer questions for that community.
Cool.
All right, so first question, I'll go ahead and read it for you, Nick. So let's see. Pull up the chat here. Okay. So, Nick, aside from what you do with Balance Period, how do you like to spend your free time?
Man, it's awesome. So, I stream on Twitch. I play Apex Legends now. That's one thing that I do. So, hardcore gamer. Like, I'll be honest with y'all, I got a Scuff Prestige, got the paddles. Like, I go in on there. outside of that, I enjoy to meditate. Like I love so much to go within that I had a goal of doing it like 6 hours a day till I realized with everything I have going on right now, that's a little tough. That's a little tough to break that up like that.
You know, I remember when you told me that, I was looking at you like, okay, bro, like, let me know how that goes.
Like I think the most I've ever got is like a solid 4 hours, and I was like breaking it up into like 30-minute segments throughout the day, and even that just seemed like, man, I'm kind of doing this a lot. And so now I found a comfortable way to do it, but that's a lot. So it's with writing and listening to audiobooks and anything that I feel like can add value to myself. I just always like to feel like I'm adding value, because if I'm by myself, then that means I'm in complete control of what I get to do.
Dope. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Gaming. Yeah, I know. Even growing up, I wasn't into gaming very much.
I know. Game Boy.
I was like,
you like the Game Boy
I would
Advance?
play handheld. Yeah, I would play handheld games while everyone else was playing PS2. I would be playing Metroid Fusion on my Nintendo. What was it back in the day? My Nintendo, was it SP? I think is what I had. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah.
No, yeah.
Well, all right, Nick. Go ahead. Read to me one of the questions for me.
Cool. Okay, I like that one. So, Ray, what is, to you, your most valuable habit? Oh, and why? That's the second part of it.
Honestly, to think, I think it's the habit of. That's interesting. I would say my most valuable habit is practicing mindfulness, for sure. I see mindfulness as like my superpower, like being able to maintain a present perspective, to pay attention to the present moment on purpose without judgment. Like, as long as I'm doing that, then I'm putting myself in the best position to be myself in any given moment, and to make sure that what I'm thinking, saying, and doing are all aligned together and are all in balance. So, and I would say that comes from a few years ago, I took some time to identify what my purpose is. I asked God, like, yo, what am I here for? Like, what is this? Like, I need to know what I'm supposed to be doing. And all I got back was a 2-step process. It was to be present and to be myself. Since I received that, and since I felt that, all I've done is dedicated my time to being present and understanding who I am so I can be myself. And so I would say the most valuable habit I practice is that of mindfulness, because it helps me do both of those things more effectively.
Dope.
Yeah. Well, all right. We are going to continue to answer these questions for everyone that is still here. But for the end of this mindful reflection of February, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you found something to be valuable that you heard today. Actually, I'm going to redo that. Thank you all for joining us today. If there was anything that you found valuable from today's episode, there are a couple things that we ask you do. Number 1, try something new. Implement what you have learned into your routine and see what value it can continue to add to your life as time progresses. The second thing is to share it. Share it with someone in your life that you feel what you heard could also be valuable too. It's important that we continue to share what we want to see more of in life so that we can continue to expand that which we find valuable. So thank you all once again for your time and attention today. And Nick, is there anything that you want to leave the people with?
As always, you're already whole. You got this. I believe in you. At some point, you'll continue to believe in you too.
Boss. All right, everyone. Peace to you. And like I said before, we'll continue to answer questions for those Appreciate Life members.